Have you ever heard someone mention Alaska and immediately thought of nothing but snow, glaciers, and polar bears? Well, it turns out that the last frontier has much more to offer than just harsh weather and cute animals. In fact, recent studies have revealed that there is a lot about Alaska that we aren't being told. Join me as we explore the secrets of Alaska that will surprise you, make you laugh, and maybe even inspire you to plan your next adventure in the Great North. When we think of Alaska, we often imagine a barren and frigid tundra where the sun never shines and the snow never melts. However, the truth is far more nuanced than that. Yes, Alaska can be cold, and yes, it can snow a lot, but the state is also home to some of the most diverse and unique weather patterns in the world. From the temperate rainforests of the southeast to the harsh, Arctic climate of the far north, Alaska's weather is as diverse as its landscapes. But don't take our word for it. Did you know that some of the warmest and driest places in Alaska can actually be found in the interior? The town of Fairbanks, for example, experiences temperatures that can rise into the 90s during the summer months. And while it's true that the state sees its fair share of snowfall, many parts of Alaska also enjoy relatively mild winters, with temperatures that rarely dip below zero. But perhaps the most surprising aspect of Alaska's weather is the incredible array of natural phenomena that occur there. Take, for example, the Northern Lights, which illuminate the skies with an otherworldly glow on clear winter nights. Or consider the Chinook winds, warm gusts of air that can push temperatures up by 30 degrees in just a matter of hours. Of course, all this diversity comes with its own set of challenges. Alaskans must be prepared for everything from hurricanes to volcanic eruptions, and often rely on their wits and resourcefulness to weather the storms. But despite the occasional hardship, most Alaskans will tell you that they wouldn't trade their unique climate for anything. So the next time someone tells you that Alaska is nothing but snow and ice, remind them that there is much more to this beautiful state than meets the eye. When it comes to wildlife, Alaska certainly has its share of iconic animals. Who doesn't love the sight of a grizzly bear or the sound of a howling wolf? But beyond the more famous creatures, Alaska is home to a wide variety of wildlife that often go unnoticed. For example, did you know that Alaska is home to a significant population of moose? These gentle giants can often be seen grazing along the highways and can grow up to 6 feet tall at the shoulder. And while we're on the subject of hoofed animals, let's not forget about caribou. These majestic creatures roam in herds throughout the state and are an important part of the Alaskan ecosystem. Of course, no discussion of Alaskan wildlife would be complete without mentioning the state's abundant fish populations. Alaska is home to some of the most productive and sustainable fishing grounds in the world, with species like salmon, halibut, and crab being prized by seafood lovers everywhere. But it's not just the land and sea creatures that make Alaska's wildlife so special. The skies are also home to a variety of birds that are unique to the state. Bald eagles, for example, can be seen soaring above the mountains and coastlines, while puffins and other seabirds nest in the cliffs and rocky outcroppings along the shoreline. Of course, with so much wildlife in such close proximity to human habitation, it's important that Alaskans learn to coexist with their animal neighbors. For the most part, this has been a successful effort, with locals taking great care to preserve and protect the state's delicate ecosystems. So the next time you find yourself in Alaska, take some time to appreciate the incredible variety of wildlife that calls this place home. From the soaring eagles to the lumbering moose, there's something special to be found around every corner. Alaska is known for its abundance of natural resources, and for many years, the state's economy has relied heavily on industries like mining, drilling, and fishing. But in recent years, there has been a growing recognition of the need to protect and preserve these resources for future generations. One of the most valuable resources in Alaska is oil. The state is home to some of the largest oil fields in North America, and production from these fields has been a major contributor to Alaska's economy for decades. However, there is also growing concern about the environmental impact of oil drilling, and many Alaskans are advocating for a shift towards alternative energy sources. In addition to oil, Alaska is also home to a variety of other minerals and natural resources. Gold, copper, and other metals are all mined in the state, as well as precious gems like jade and garnets. Timber is also an important resource, with large tracts of old-growth forest providing a vital habitat for wildlife. But it's not just about extracting resources from the land. Alaska is also a leader in the sustainable management of its natural resources. The state's fishing industry, for example, is one of the most productive and sustainable in the world, with strict regulations in place to protect fish populations and prevent overfishing. In recent years, there has also been a growing interest in alternative energy sources in Alaska. The state is home to some of the most abundant wind, solar, and geothermal resources in the country, and there are ongoing efforts to develop these resources and move away from fossil fuels. So while Alaska may be known for its natural resources, there is also a growing awareness of the need to protect and preserve these resources for future generations. By balancing the needs of industry with the need for sustainability, Alaskans are working to create a bright future for their state and its unique environment. Alaska is home to a diverse range of indigenous cultures, each with their own traditions, languages, and ways of life. These cultures have deep roots in the land and have been shaped by the harsh environment and the challenges of survival in the far north. One of the most well-known indigenous groups in Alaska is the Inupiaq people, who live in the far north of the state. The Inupiaq have a rich history of subsistence hunting and fishing, and have developed unique technologies and techniques for surviving in the extreme Arctic environment. Another important indigenous group in Alaska is the Tlingit people, who live in the southeast part of the state. The Tlingit have a rich tradition of art and storytelling, and are known for their totem poles, carvings, and other forms of traditional art. Other indigenous groups in Alaska include the Yupik, Aleut, and Athabascan peoples, each with their own distinct languages and cultures. These groups have a long and complex history in the state and have faced many challenges over the years, including colonization, displacement, and loss of traditional lands. Despite these challenges, Alaska's indigenous cultures continue to thrive and evolve. Today, many indigenous communities are working to preserve their languages and traditions and to pass them on to future generations. This includes efforts to revitalize traditional art forms, teach traditional subsistence skills, and promote cultural tourism. It's important to recognize the contributions that Alaska's indigenous cultures have made to the state's history and identity. By celebrating and preserving these cultures, Alaskans are helping to ensure that they will continue to be an important part of the state's rich cultural heritage for generations to come. In conclusion, Alaska is a land of diversity and contrasts, and there is so much more to this great state than what we might typically think. From the weather to the wildlife, the natural resources to the indigenous cultures, Alaska is a fascinating and complex place, full of surprises and hidden gems. While the stereotypes of Alaska may persist, it's clear that there is much more to be discovered. So, let's keep an open mind and continue to explore and learn about this unique and beautiful part of the world. And that's all we have time for today. We hope you've enjoyed this journey through the secrets of Alaska and that you've learned something new and interesting. If you have any thoughts or comments, we'd love to hear from you, so feel free to share them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.